What's going on, party people? My name is Solomon. I am an artist, and thus I go by Solomon the Artiste. So, this is a video that I really didn't think that I'd ever do. Not that it's anything huge or whatever, but I just didn't think it was necessary because there are a multitude of videos on YouTube about doing a handlebar mustache. But I think everyone has their own technique, a different technique. Everyone likes their mustache to look a certain way, and everyone has a different process and what have you. And I'll even take it a step further and say that maybe, even though it's something as simple as a mustache, maybe there is some representation needed, in seeing a man of color in this day and age rocking a handlebar mustache, And so I thought, because I kept getting the question about how do you do your mustache, and it never occurred to me that someone was asking me that simply because they like the finished product of my personal take on the handlebar mustache. I thought it was just like it's a mustache, it's a handlebar mustache. Look it up, That's what I did. Or technically I didn't, I just kind of figured it out along the way. But either way, the point is, out of curiosity right before finally deciding to do this video, and the questions that I got about the handlebar mustache were primarily on Facebook and largely on Instagram. I just out of curiosity looked at YouTube right before deciding to film this, which was totally random. And I realized that I came across just one video of a black man doing a handlebar mustache. And he uses the same product that I use, but he doesn't use the comb that comes with it. And I thought his technique was very interesting. I thought, and maybe I'll try it one day, I don't know, but I personally love the comb / brush that comes with the product that I use, and I'll mention it in a bit, obviously, but I have a whole process, forgive me. So and then I noticed that this is what really sparked it for me. I noticed that in his comment section, forgive me y'all, the mustache ain't done yet, obviously, so it's kind of getting in the way of me speaking. But I noticed in his comment section, someone actually wrote, "Wow, I've never seen a black man with a handlebar mustache before. Cool." And I was just like, what? And the funny thing is, I've seen a number of, well, no, not that many. I'd be lying as I'm thinking about it. In New York, I think I've seen maybe 2 other men of color rocking a handlebar mustache. In New York. I'm from New York. I literally just moved to LA about a month ago. And out here, it feels like it's just me with a handlebar mustache. Because I constantly get compliments left and right, up and down, and all that good stuff, So either way, I don't want this intro to be too long. It's already long enough. I figured I wouldn't just stop at the mustache, because there were a couple of things I had to figure out along the way when I first started making this mustache a part of my life, my image, my artist brand, so to speak. So I'm gonna go through my entire process, which includes washing my face and moisturizing and all that good stuff. So I will be right back in a split second, because I'm gonna wash my face and pat down and all that good stuff so that I can show you my entire process. I'll be right back. And I am washed and ready. So this is all stuff that I think is important with having a handlebar mustache and facial hair in general, but particularly, the handlebar mustache. There are things you should be aware of, I think, at least. I can't tell you how many times when I first started doing my mustache that I would go through the process of, showering, washing my face, all that good stuff. And I would do simple idiotic things like forgetting to brush my teeth before doing the mustache, or forgetting to put on moisturizer before doing the mustache, you know? And I don't know, maybe that's another video that I'll bring up also, because there's a whole process, something else I had to learn with the mustache, about a nighttime routine. And I'll talk about that closer to the end of the video because I don't want to prolong this too long. So I've washed my face, use your favorite, you know, facial cleanser. And now I'm gonna moisturize. So it depends. I like to use, I do have a favorite moisturizer currently. I'm not gonna promote them because, you know, that's not what this is about, firstly, and secondly, you know, I'm a starving artist. I deserve some money. Let me stop. No, but I don't have a process in respect to putting on moisturizer. I know that there are people that say, you know, you should moisturize upward and all that stuff. I can't imagine that that actually works, because what is you brushing your skin upward gonna, you know, do against gravity, you know? But I'd be a liar if I said every once in a while it doesn't cross my mind and I'm like, oh, nobody's looking, let me just do this real quick, you know? But nonetheless, I've learned to remember, I've trained myself to remember to moisturize before I do my mustache, because trying to put on moisturizer after you've done your mustache is a whole task and a half. And the other thing too is that I actually like, so I have a mirror right here that I'm gonna use, because I usually do this in the mirror. I like to moisturize not my mustache, but the hair underneath my mustache, the skin rather underneath my mustache, because that can get very dry very easily. I think I got moisturizer in my eye, which is why I just closed my eye. I certainly did. So, and I'm not even gonna cut it out. It happens, such is life. Do better than I do if you try this. So, yeah. So, oof, definitely got that in my eye. Excuse me, y'all. So, my eye is gonna water as I talk. So, I'll just kind of mention. So, I found, like, I used to be lazy, and I can imagine, like, whoever's watching this video is probably laughing their behind off. I would laugh too. So, I find that it's necessary to ensure that at nighttime, I'm just gonna get into it. Wash your mustache off. Not your mustache, wash the product out of your mustache. Because there is no rule of thumb with the mustache wax, but I found, and maybe it's just a me thing because I do have sensitive skin for the most part, I find that leaving it in overnight and I wake up in the morning, sometimes I might, it can get flaky, you know. It's your upper lip, but it's still hair, and dandruff can still appear there because it's hair growing out of your skin, you know. And what I found also is that because I recently moved to LA from New York, and I am living in the Valley where it's tremendously hot all the time, I get dry, like exceptionally dry. Which is why my moisturizer seems to work fine, you know, but I do have some friends that suggested that I make rose water a part of my skin regimen. I make it sound like I have an everyday thing. I really don't. I'm not that dude. So, but, you know, when it comes to my mustache, I certainly do. So, what you just saw me do is put moisturizer into the mustache itself. Now, what I do then after that is take the excess, if there's any, out of the mustache hair itself, because you don't want your mustache to be too moist for the sake of the wax, you know. Not that you want your mustache dry, but you just really want underneath to be moist so that it doesn't get flaky and things like that. There are mustache and beard moisturizers and oils and things like that that you can get on the market. I've done research and I find that a lot of that is essentially regular face moisturizer, maybe with an extra essential oil for the sake of you know, branding and things like that, or for, you know, mustache, for you know, the facial hair and whatnot, which is great, but I just haven't felt the need to actually purchase one as of yet. I do perfectly fine with my regular moisturizer, and this is a pretty prominent moisturizer. I do like to spend money on a moisturizer, so, you know, and the fact is, if I didn't have a mustache or a beard, I would just be rubbing the moisturizer all over anyway, so what's the difference? That's my logic. In any case, to get to the mustache, so the one video that I found of another black man who has a handlebar mustache on YouTube, he actually, so we use the same brand, Clubman mustache wax, and I believe we use the same color as well. I use black. Now, he actually said that he does not like the tiny comb slash brush that comes with it. I adore this. I love it. And I like I said, I watched his video and I enjoyed his video, actually. I thought it was very informative. And forgive me, I'm actually gonna look away a little bit. Actually, maybe I'll just bring the mirror here so I can be facing the camera a bit more. So I love this thing because what I do is I comb through the mustache first, right? I comb through the mustache, and I don't know if this is the proper technique or not, but this is what works and has been working for me. By the way, I've already shaved. I shaved yesterday. I'm not the type of dude that likes to shave every day because I have a dire fear of razor bumps. I don't want them. I think they're ugly. I don't want it. So I shave like once a week, if not once every 2 weeks. But yeah, so I comb through the mustache, and then I'll just kind of brush it a little bit just to make sure that it's all facing the direction that I want it to face. And I feel like the brush and comb does very well, personally. Now, what I like to do, and this is the reason that I brush and comb my mustache, you know, in its necessary direction, I like to take the wax, put a dab of it between my fingers, and then I just sort of press it against the hairs, and brush it against, press it and brush using my finger against the hairs, the direction I want it to go. And I start at the base and top of it, obviously. Now, what I do, take a little bit more, and I'll try to look at the camera a little bit more as I do this. I sort of like pinch it upward together. I don't know if that makes sense, how I said it. I think it does. But I pinch it up towards each other, as if I'm like sort of bunching the hairs together, which is exactly what you're doing. And what this does is that it sort of binds the hairs together. So after I've done that, the excess I put on the end of the mustache, obviously. But what I like to do is to comb through while the wax is there a bit. And then the brush part, I can use that to brush against my lip line, because I do like the mustache to be as close to perfect as possible. I want it to just almost look like a cartoon. That's how I like it. Don't judge my life. So I brush against it, brush it to the right or left, whatever side of the mustache you start on. But I also brush it in that pinching manner. Remember, when I started pinching it, I sort of, it's like I'm pulling it to this is my right side, but I'm pinching it downward as I'm doing that, so that it's gonna just look sort of finer, not thinner in density, but thinner in terms of, you know. So I do that, and then boom, I got that. And then I start to pay more attention to the tip, the end rather, of the mustache. So at this point, I just put a little excess onto the mustache, but I still sort of pull it like according to its grain, to wherever it's growing to, wherever I've trained it to go. And I pull it backward because sometimes what can happen is when I first started doing the mustache, I didn't think. I used to like pull it like outward, and what happens is that the mustache just has this odd way of sitting outward, and it doesn't look right. So pulling it back this way allows you, and something I had to learn too is to not twist it. You know, I used to do that because that just seemed to make sense, but I realized that's not the best thing to do, because what happens is that when you do make your curl, you know, if you twist it forward, the curl falls forward. If you twist it backward, it falls backward, and it's like touching your face the whole time, which isn't necessarily bad, but it can begin to feel annoying. It can feel as if a fly is sitting on your face, you know? So I have enough product on the tip, and now like literally I just use my finger and twist it around. Now what I do, I hope you can see what I'm doing. Actually, I'll get a bit closer. This is a little awkward, but what I'm doing is I just sort of work it around. I think my mustache, well, I know my mustache has sort of been trained after, you know, nearly 2 years of rocking this mustache. And I'll literally just curl it inward, and I'll press it upon the other part of the mustache. So I hold the end, this part here that I'm wiggling, I hold that and press it so that it kind of flattens out a little bit. And then this part, the tip, I press down on the mustache itself so that it can sort of bind together. And I just stand there and hold it for like 10 seconds, you know. Stand there and I hold it, you know. If I'm feeling idiotic, I'll just count. But then what happens is when I let it go, I'll let go of the base first here, and then I let go of the tip. And then you'll find that it just sits there, you know. And so this part here, which it's really just me needing to shave, I normally, when I do have that and I haven't shaved yet, I'll just comb against it, which is again why I like this little comb here, because then it's like small enough to do its job, you know. Clubman knew what they were doing, I think, when they made the little brush, you know. So one side is done, boom, and I will do the other in a moment. What's going on, y'all? So I did the other half of the mustache off camera, and this is the finished product. So as you can see here, compared to the other guy, the other video that I mentioned, the reason that I would not use the toothbrush is because here, using the actual utensil given with the Clubman mustache wax, is the fact that the cleanup is minimal. I really have nothing to clean up, as you can see. Once in a while you might get a little patch of something here or there, but it's nothing compared to what you saw in the other video likely. Now I'm gonna give you a bonus, because I think it's necessary. So like I said before, it's important to moisturize before you do your mustache, because trying to put the moisturizer on after the mustache is done is just a hell of a headache. We already did that, but I'm going to take it another step forward and show you what I do with my beard. So some people do actually like to use the mustache wax on their beard. I've done that. I don't really like it. I mean, it's okay for a night, I guess, because it does keep your beard intact, keep it, you know, stiff, but that's the thing I don't like. It's just not that your beard would move anyway, but it's just odd to feel like you have a, I don't know, an arrow on your chin. So what I do is I actually use this here, African shea butter. And I like it because it gets everything moisturized. It moisturizes both the hair and the chin. Put a little bit on your hand, dab it through, and you can get as creative as you want to be. There's a lot of people who do this new thing now where they sort of switch their mustache into two separate parts. That's different. If it works for you, it works for you. It doesn't work for me, but what I like to do is run the shea butter through the beard and sort of twist it downward. Depending on how I feel that morning, I'll just leave the twist and go about my business. But ultimately, I'll twist it like you see here, let it sit for 5-10 minutes so that it just sort of forms. And then when you let it loose, it just looks like a really dope curl. Like you see here, essentially. But I think for the day I am going to just sort of leave it twisted. So I'm going to retwist it here. Bam. So, any excess shea butter that you have, it's shea butter. Use it. Moisturize your hands, moisturize your neck, put it on your scalp, anything you want to do. It's moisturizer. Now, I am done, ready to go on with my day. Put my badass hat on. Boom. Thank you so much for watching, and God bless.